What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be showcasing how to get the exotic catalyst for the brand new Vexcalibur Exotic Glaive just added into Destiny 2 via a secret exotic mission within Season of Defiance. And so, let's get started. But just before we do, if you're upgrading your exotics, why not upgrade your gaming setup? Well, thanks to Evolve PCs, you can do just that. Click the link in the description down below and customize the perfect PC for you. Just remember to use code KAKISHD to save $100 on your purchase. Alright, now let's get started here with the most important thing. You will have to have already done the original exotic mission to get the Vexcalibur. So if you haven't done that, I've already done a guide that is linked up above, so you have to do that first. Now, once you acquire the Vexcalibur, you're also going to acquire a quest at the same time. You absolutely want to do this quest because while you're in there, you can actually, aside from the catalyst, also unlock the first perk slot for this weapon. So, the quest itself just wants you to go and get kills on Vex with the Vexcalibur. Keep in mind, it's only ranged kills that use up ammo. Melees won't count for this, but just go to a random lost sector on Nessus, for example, and you'll get this done in no time, guys. But once that's complete, you'll see you actually unlock like something you can equip onto your Vexcalibur. And this will let you reach parts of the exotic mission that you weren't able to before. But moving on from there, in terms of the catalyst, you have to beat that same exotic mission on legendary difficulty. The recommended power is 1830, but with the actual legend modifier, it should put you around 20 levels below that point, so 1810 or above should be good. At least that's about where we were at in terms of power level. Now, almost immediately after starting this mission, you're gonna go for a secret chest. So the first thing you need to do is, upon squeezing through this little hole and entering the second open chamber, you're gonna jump up on these ledges and activate this green object. Once you do, guys, you're going to continue to head forward, and then there's going to be a secret kind of area that's opened up, but there's a wall blocking your way. Well, if you guard with your Vexcalibur, then the thing you just equipped to it is going to activate, and you're going to be able to walk through these Vex walls and acquire this chest. Now, it's going to give you the M1R Distribution Matrix 2, and that is the upgraded version of the enhanced trait of the Vexcalibur. Very similar to when you were upgrading the Revision 0 last season and getting better and better intrinsic traits that increase the stats and let you craft more perks onto it. So when you go back to the Enclave and reforge this weapon to put the catalyst on, you can now put a blade perk on, whereas it doesn't come with one originally. But moving on from there, let's continue with the rest of the legendary mission. And guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was a doozy. There are a ton of ads in every single encounter coming at you relentlessly, minotaurs, wyverns, etc. So you need to have your ad clearing capabilities within your build at the absolute utmost top level. So how do you do that? Well, what we found was extremely effective are juiced void builds. So let me give you an example of that with my Void Titan here. This is what I use to beat it, and a lot of these same principles can apply to a Void Warlock or a Void Hunter. Keep in mind, we're using Void because the shields that you're going to face with the Minotaurs are exclusively Void. And Void builds are just completely broken this season. You know what? Let's explain why. First of all, in terms of your seasonal artifact, I did a whole video explaining in more detail why these are so good, but to quickly go over them, you want Volatile Flow to just constantly have volatile rounds. Then you want Bricks from Beyond. You get kills with void weapons that, remember, are volatile. You get constant heavy ammo, and then void weapon channeling for even more damage. What you're then going to combine all of these things with is a void machine gun, something like the Commemoration from the Deepstone Crypt, or the brand new void machine gun that just came out with Lightfall. Like, that is a great one to use as well. And the reason you're doing that is because, as you can see in the background gameplay, A machine gun with volatile rounds is unbelievably good at ad clearing. Not to mention those kills you're getting are spawning more heavy ammo thanks to bricks from beyond, and so that means you can essentially use this machine gun as a primary. In fact, you're getting so much ammo, guys, that I'm not even using an actual primary. I'm using two specials. The first one is this Hollow Denial. Finding a special with lead from gold is amazing. It lets all those bricks from beyond bricks also give you special ammo, and then I'm also using the Wither Horde, and this is just a phenomenally powerful build, and it's really meant to take on the ridiculous amount of ads you're gonna find within this legendary mission. Now, some fragments I would highly recommend when using this. Put on the new one that will spawn void breaches for getting volatile kills, which is all you're doing, and then make sure to put on the one that gives you Devour for picking up a void breach. Those two things combined can mean that you have essentially 100% uptime on Devour, so every time you're getting a kill you get healed, which is very, very important. Now, in terms of boss fights that you are going to be facing as well, you may want to have a one-person switch to a build more designed around boss DPS. And so an example of that here is the Starfire Protocol Warlock. So, the protocol gives 2 fusion grenades that are going to regen energy when you get weapon damage while empowered. So you stand in your rift, you use something that does continuous damage like the Anarchy here or a Wither Horde, and then you're just going to constantly yeet out grenades non-stop. It's amazing for taking down those bosses in this encounter. However, guys, what you also really want to have is something like this Lingering Dread. Now, it doesn't have to be this, but a special grenade launcher with disorienting grenades. That is almost required, and it's because you face a ton of, like I said, ads, but especially the wyverns can be a lot to take down, but they can be blinded. So, for example, in this encounter here, when you're trying to go into the pit of safety, the wyverns can push in on you, and on legendary difficulty, you might not have time to kill them both. Well, you don't need to kill them. Just yeet a disorienting round, a grenade at both of them, and as you can see, they're blinded for long enough for you to go and get teleported, and then it's just going to despawn them. So absolutely, a blinding grenade launcher in your arsenal is very, very important. Now, as for some tips for the mission itself, first of all, until you get to that first Hydra boss, it's all ad clearing. So honestly, I switched from Bubble to Sentinel Shield, and that was amazing for clearing these guys out. Would definitely recommend you guys do the same if you are running a Titan, or again, if you're running a Warlock, perhaps switch to actual Dawnblade for this first part. But moving on to that first Hydra boss encounter, again, use blinding grenades to keep on top of the wyverns, but also, guys, if you go to this area here, up near where the boss is kind of stored before they spawn, they're protected by Vex shields, no enemies are going to go up to where you are here, and as you can see, you can walk around the back of this ledge if you need even more cover. So if you're a little bit too close to the front, the boss can still hit you, but it's definitely the safest area of the map to DPS. In addition to that, guys, when you are DPSing, don't use a ton of supers, especially the Warlock Strand super, and be aware of using a ton of grenades and stuff like that, explosives like rocket launchers, because you can easily push this boss off the map, and we got error coded one time when we did it, so just try to avoid that. Normal guns, linear fusions, machine guns, whatever, are going to be ideal for this. Now, leading up to the boss spawning, there's going to be a ton of yellow bar hobgoblins that can cause some huge issues. However, guys, remember that volatile rounds can pierce through barrier shields, and anything that can pierce barriers can actually kill the hobgoblins, as you can see, while they're supposed to be immune. So turn your void machine gun when you have volatile on those guys, and you can take them out in no time. Now, moving on to the final boss fight here, guys, the first thing is that ad clearing is still very much an issue here, and I would err to the side of taking longer but not wiping versus trying to just put everything on for DPS. If you have like one guy for ad clearing, one guy for DPS, if you can get a team, that's going to be a lot better. Also, there's quite a lot of wyverns in these different encounters. So again, having someone with a blinding grenade launcher in this encounter as well is very, very important here. Additionally, might be a good idea to switch to a solar damage resist because the boss himself is a giant hobgoblin, and yeah, he hits pretty darn hard. Now, the first encounter is pretty straightforward. He's just going to teleport around the map. The second one, okay, so the thing is that you're probably going to notice between legend and normal difficulty is that when you find the code on this kind of second floor and then you enter it and the boss is available to damage, as you can see, if you don't do enough damage, then the boss will shield up again and you have to do that whole process again. So wyverns are going to spawn, cyclopses are going to spawn, you have to kill those guys all over again. So definitely worth like communicating with your team and like saving the last symbol in the code for when you're ready to DPS. Like, you know, don't shoot the final square, for example. Set up where you want to go, get ready with popping a well, make sure your entire team is ready to go, and then pop the last symbol, the shields go down, and start damaging right away to make the most of that limited time you have. However, guys, moving on from there, in the final floor, you might actually want to wait before going down there, because the second you go down there, the boss is going to be on you, already chasing you. So you can absolutely just wait on a floor until you get all your supers and then head through the portal and start damaging the boss, right? Again, it's going to take longer, but it's a lot safer. You can see the second I got down here, I popped a bubble, and it probably made the difference here between life and death. Now, after that, it's really about trying to clear the ads, I would say, and then just kiting the boss around the map. You absolutely do not want to get stomped off here, which is very easy to do. So if the boss is heading towards you, stuff like the Witherhoard and the Anarchy that you can use to stick the boss and then move. Stick and move, that is going to be the key for this final floor. However, guys, once you do get that done, as you can see, the final chest is going to reward you that new exotic catalyst. The next thing you need to do is head to Mars, to the Enclave, and then go to Reshape the Vexcalibur. As you can see, you can upgrade the intrinsic perk, and we got that out of the very first chest. Then you can put on a different blade perk, as you can see. Probably more shield duration is not a bad idea because there's a lot of synergy with the shield here. And then the catalyst is going to add the immovable glaive perk, and this says dealing ranged damage grants increased weapon energy while you're stationary with your shield raised. So you can hold your shield and shoot, and that's going to give shield energy back, which is pretty good and synergistic with this weapon. The other catalyst you can look forward to unlocking in the coming weeks, I would assume, is Grave Robber. So get melee kills, get ammo back into the mag, obviously fantastic with glaives. And then also Feedback, which says blocking damage partially reloads this weapon from reserves. Again, pretty good. So all three of these catalysts are definitely worth taking a look at. But then you recraft your glaive. As you can see, it's going to have that masterwork glow around it, and it's going to be significantly better than it was before. Guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.